A tumultuous meeting exposes a yawning chasm between Roland, Frederica, and Benedict's visions for the future. Yet only one will emerge victorious, for such is the custom of House Wolffort. As ever, the scales of conviction have the final word. The time has come for judgments to be rendered and leaders to steel themselves for the outcome.
We've chosen our path. We are to free the Roselle being held in Hyzante's source.
You have chosen the one path I cannot take.
I understand your disappointment, Benedict, but the scales have spoken. And so I ask for your wisdom. Help us find a way to free the Roselle.
Hyzante will destroy everything you hold dear if you attempt to free them. That way lies ruin. Your choice is to turn your back on this house, to cast aside your land and the people who have built their lives upon it. I will not, I cannot endorse such betrayal.
I agree that we will be ill-prepared to defend the domain this way. Should that come to pass, I am prepared to flee with the Roselle and search for Centralia. They say it is home to a boundless salted sea. Surely a land where none need fight for salt is a land worth seeking. This is an opportunity, Benedict. We could find a new home instead of fighting the wars of old yet again.
Why not channel that resolve to lead the people of Norzelia as their king? You hold the power and the might. You lack only the will. With the salt crystals in hand, you shall ascend the throne. I shall see to it that you are coronated. Then we can liberate the Roselle, or whatever else your heart desires.
Liberate the Roselle, or whatever else. I never dreamed I would hear such callous words fall from your lips.
I stand by them. I care only that you and the legacy of House Wolffort are safe and secure. I shall offer my counsel by force, if needed.
You don't mean to fight the lad.
Stand down, Benedict.
No, Anna. This is a challenge that I must accept.
I beg you to reconsider. If you mean to proceed with this folly, then you will do so over my dead body. You can do so much more, Lord Serenoa. The salt crystals give you the upper hand. Esfrost and Hyzante would bend the knee to you. You could unite all Norzelia under your rule.
You were right about me, Benedict. I lack the will. I have no desire to rule Norzelia. I wish to see an oppressed people set free and nothing more.
At what cost? Would you see your loyal subjects conquered by another nation?
I would forfeit my lordship. The people of Wolffort will endure without me. The Roselle have no such champion for their cause. We are the only ones who can set them free.
Give me the order, and I shall reduce Hyzante to rubble. Then they shall be free.
The ensuing battle will only breed further resentment, or worse, displace others who will be treated like the Roselle. War cannot solve every problem, and our liberation of the Roselle shall prove as much.
So, you now take blind counsel from your betrothed. To think that an arranged marriage will lead to this folly.
Enough! I came to this conclusion of my own free will. I have seen the challenges that face Norzelia, and this is how I choose to respond.
You are every inch Lady Destra's child. Your compassion steers you headlong into every conflict. Alas, compassion is easily trampled. It can only exist so long as it has an army at its back. My patience grows thin, Lord Serenoa. The salt crystals give you the power to bring peace to Norzelia.
You're wrong. It is little more than the catalyst for another protracted war.
A war we can win. Let me lead you to victory.
There is always a war to be won. Do you not see the cycle at work? I will break that cycle and use my power to liberate the oppressed.
You talk of fleeing from your duty, of pure fantasy.
We need you, Benedict. Why can you not put our differences aside?
This is absurd. You race toward your own destruction, and I will not be party to it. Lord Simon entrusted me with the future of this house. And I swore an oath to Lady Destra that I would protect you no matter what the cost.
You are shackled to the past, Benedict.
I would call it loyalty.
And it has come to this. For the sake of our future, I must strike you down.
Prepare yourself. You came, you missed.
Here!
You came, you missed.
Ha!
I yield. Grant me the mercy of a swift death.
No. Neither father nor mother would stand for the killing of a loyal retainer. The rest of us shall make our way to Hyzante in secret. You will remain here. Lead the people out of the Wolffort domain before the Hyzantean army assaults this castle, and keep them safe.
These are your orders, in exchange for sparing my life?
These are not orders, and there is no exchange to be made. This is the last thing I will ever ask of you as my steward and loyal friend of House Wolffort.
And so, you follow in the footsteps of Lord Simon and Lady Destra. Leaving me behind with the most arduous tasks. I shall rise to the occasion, my lord. I shall do whatever is required to see that the Wolffort name and its people survive. Should House Wolffort lose its lord, I shall lead the house forward in your stead.
I have no doubt you will.
Benedict.
Mule-headed fool.
We've each made our choices. Now we must walk the path we believe is right.
Yes.
King Roland, this decision means casting Glenbrook aside. I know I cannot ask you to come with me, but will you agree to see to the salt crystals?
No. I am sorry, my friend, but I am not worthy to oversee such an important task.
Of course you are. You have always striven to be fair and just.
You hold me much too high in regard. Our conversation earlier made me realize the truth. My faith was misguided, as were my actions. I believed exacting vengeance upon Esfrost would be proof enough I was Glenbrook's rightful king. But I gave no thought to the bloody cost of revenge. This kingdom and its subjects should not have to suffer such a selfish fool upon the throne.
Then, you will come with me?
I shall. Not as your king, but as your friend. If I can help those in need, that is enough. Glenbrook has the geographical advantage, and the salt crystals. And there are a small handful of trustworthy nobles remaining. I'm certain they will ensure the people thrive, even without a king. Glenbrook is in too powerful a position for foreign powers to interfere.
Roland.
You know you aren't leaving me behind. I've come this far by your side. I'm not abandoning you now.
You have my thanks, Huette.
Frederica, don't you think you ought to make your convictions clear to your companions?
Well, it's common knowledge by now that I'm an Esfrosti of Rosellan descent. I was a lonely child who hated that her hair was a different color from everyone else. But then I joined House Wolffort. I met Jerome and witnessed the cruelty that my fellow Roselle suffered at the source. And I learned how brave my mother was, how long and hard she fought for her people's freedom. Compared to the horrors they went through, I have lived a life of privilege and comfort. I am proud to be a Rosellan, and proud to be a Wolffort. I wish to be strong, strong like my lady mother before me. And I wish to see her dream of freeing our people fulfilled. I understand the difficulties that lie ahead, but hope that I might have you all with me.
We will always be there beside you, Frederica.
My lord, Hyzante's army has sent a message ahead of their forces. It says, the grand Norzelian mines must be conferred to the goddess as a divine offering.
An offering? Sounds more like an ultimatum.
Precisely. If we refuse to relinquish the mines, they'll put the Wolffort domain to the sword.
Then we've no time to waste. We must make ready to leave at once.
What of the Hyzantean forces?
They haven't entered the domain yet. If we act now, we could sneak around them and reach the capital.
Focused as they are on seizing the salt crystal deposits, I'd wager their domestic defenses are at a minimum.
If we can get into the capital and have the Roselle and the Source take up arms, we should stand a fair chance of helping them escape.
But Hyzante is wary of Serenoa for keeping the salt crystals from them, despite his position as one of the Saintly Seven. They may be short-handed, but if they spot him, we'll never make it inside.
We can use the consortium cart to slip unnoticed into the capital.
The wagon from Claris? You sure we can trust the consortium?
Yes. if only because this benefits both us and him. In exchange, I told him what secrets we learned of Esfrost and Hyzante.
You mean you told them of Dragan's murder and the illicit salt trade? I hope he understands those secrets must never leave his lips.
He understands. Once people learn of the salt crystals, Norzelia will change. And the Consortium will have a new role to serve. Now that they know, they will be better prepared to negotiate their position. They agreed to help us as a show of gratitude.
You've thought this through. Well done, Anna.
What of our things, Gila?
Stored safely within the cart, of course.
Things? What things?
The explosives we found in the tunnel.
After we've gotten the Roselle to rise up, we'll set sail from the harbor and make for the Folk's Domain, to the Great Falls. To make sure no one follows us, we'll blow up all the other ships in the harbor as we leave.
Frederica and I devised the plan ourselves.
A perfect way to make an escape with so many people.
Wise of you to make for the Folk's Domain. It's distant enough. You'll have plenty of time to hide.
Aye, about as far south as you can get. No better place, if your end goal is Centralia, too.
It's a good plan. We shall do what we can to make sure it succeeds.
Crafty as ever, you Wolfforts. I'm glad to be on your side.
But one problem remains. How do we get the Roselle and the Source to turn against their captors? If we can't win their trust, all this is for naught.
We need some way of persuading them. And quickly, too.
Let me worry about that. I can find the words to convince them. I am my mother's daughter, after all.
All right. I know you'll figure something out, Frederica.
There is one more thing. Huette, I'll need to send a bird.
Of course, my lady. Where to?
The Rosellan village. I'd like to tell Jerome and the others of our plan. I would have them meet us at the Great Falls.
Agreeing to such a thing means they will have to give up the lives they enjoy now. Do you think they will come?
I cannot say. Regardless, I owe it to them to let them know Hyzante is invaded.
Indeed. Let us send word and see what they have to say.
Upon learning of the salt crystal deposits, Hyzante quickly musters her forces. They march upon the Wolffort domain, intent on seizing control of the mine. Serenoa decides to take this as an opportunity to free the Roselle enslaved at the source. But that decision leads to Benedict's departure from House Wolffort. Still grappling with grief over parting ways with their friend, Serenoa and the others make for the Hyzantean capital. There, amidst a land in turmoil, they hope to help the Roselle rise up against their oppressors. Concealed aboard Claris's consortium cart, Serenoa and his retinue slip out of the Wolffort domain past Exham's forces and make for the Hyzantean capital. As soon as they arrive, they review the particulars of their plan to lead the Roselle in revolt.
Scouts are reporting the Hyzantean army has crossed into the Wolffort domain. The force is commanded by Minister Exham, and is many times larger than what they used when we marched on the Crown City.
Enough to destroy Castle Wolffort, and then some. They ain't aiming just to scare us.
A foe even Benedict would be hard-pressed to prevail against.
Have faith, Anna. Benedict will protect our people as he always has.
I know.
That said, we cannot defend the domain itself. Our land and our castle will doubtless fall to Exham's forces.
Then we must act as if we have no home to return to.
We cannot waver in our resolve.
No, The time for doubts is long past. Listen well. After we have freed the Roselle from the source, we will set our sights on their homeland in the south, on Centralia. We will find the Endless Sea and create a land free of suffering. A far-fetched dream if ever there was one, I know. I will not blame any of you if you do not wish to come.
A bit late for second thoughts now.
Aye, we're with you, my lord. Wherever you will lead us.
Then it's decided. We have much to discuss about our rescue plan. Claris, if you would.
The wagon will have to pass through an inspection at the goddess's shield before entering the city. I can throw my consortium weight around to see you safely through the inspection, but that's about all I'm good for.
That's more than enough. Thank you.
And let's muscle our way into the source. The guards won't expect an attack from the outside.
Getting in is not what worries me.
Indeed. The biggest obstacle we face is getting the Roselle to follow us out.
They've been treated as criminals under the teachings for so long, they've come to believe they are guilty. They might be too terrified of disobeying the goddess to even agree to rise up.
My mother led them in revolt 30 years ago.
True, but only a small handful of people escaped.
I know. Freeing all of them means we must be even bolder than my mother.
Have you thought of how you'll convince them?
I have. I will smash the statue of the goddess to pieces. If they see her idol destroyed, the fear shackled about their hearts will break. Without terror to hold them back, the uprising of 30 years ago will look tiny in comparison.
But that statue is massive. How are you gonna reduce it to rubble?
I'm going to blow it up.
Ah, yes, if we use all the explosives we have, it will come crumbling down. But then we'd have none to destroy the ships that pursue us.
Exactly. That's why I think we ought to use Elfric on the ships instead.
Elfric? It is more powerful than the explosives.
And perfect for blowing up ships.
There must be some stored at the Ministry of Medicine, considering Minister Lila's involvement in its creation. But how will we detonate it without Milo?
Considering all the research they conducted, there must be some sort of documentation on how to use it.
Then what are we waiting for? If Lady Frederica's plan is going to succeed, we better go track some down.
All right, and we have our plan.
My friends. Thank you.
I'll handle the guards. Don't move a muscle, any of you. Don't even breathe. Hail! I am Claris of the Consortium. I bring goods for trade in the city, if you'll give me leave to pass.
Claris! Consortium's working you hard.
In these dangerous times, 'tis a privilege to be in such good employ. But you're worked even harder than I. Here, a small token of my appreciation.
You always have been a thoughtful man. Go on, then.
Wait. We cannot allow unscheduled goods into the city without inspection.
Fine. Guess there's no such thing as being too careful.
You needn't worry. Minister Camsel of the Saintly Seven sent for these goods himself.
He did?
Oh, yes. Look closely, and you'll see.
What have you done? Ah! You snake! I must call for reinforcements!
Claris, are you all right?
My apologies. Luckily, mine was the only face they saw. I will draw off the reinforcements while you make for the Ministry of Medicine. Quickly now. And do not forget to retrieve the explosives you buried in my cargo.
I'm sorry we've put you to such trouble. And we'll likely have to blow up consortium ships on top of everything else.
Cause as much trouble as you wish. I know you'll repay me for it once this is all over.
Hurry. The majority of their forces may be absent, but we're finished if a guard catches sight of us.
To the Ministry of Medicine with us.
Unsurprising to find researchers here.
Hyzante still doesn't know we're moving against them. They shouldn't think us suspicious as long as we walk at a calm pace.
We can't go that slowly. Minister Kamzil is in charge of the guards, and he's no pushover. The longer we take, the more we'll lose our freedom of movement.
Claris is clever, but he could still get captured.
Then we'd best split up.
Indeed. We must find the Elfric and quickly.
Lord Serenoa, look at this book.
What is it?
Did you find it?
No, only a book.
The Elfric method in practice. Does this detail how it is made?
Seems that way. It's littered with arcane terms I can scarcely comprehend. But if I'm grasping this correctly, the main component of Elfric is human remains. It says here, having harvested the corpses of Roselle who perished at the source.
Harvesting corpses? For what foul purpose?
We did not intend for Elfric to be weaponized. Our original goal was to harness its immense magical capabilities to power the automaton.
Automaton? What manner of contraption is that?
I do not know, but I doubt it is anything kind or good.
I thought the Ministry of Medicine was supposed to, figure out how to save lives, not how to profit off death.
We've glimpsed the rot at Hyzante's core.
Minister Serenoa, what are you doing here?
Minister Lila, did you use Rosellan remains to create Elfric?
I advise taking more care with your words, Minister Serenoa. You are one of the Saintly Seven. You have a responsibility to protect Hyzante's secrets.
Then it is true.
You steal their freedom, their very lives. And you dare to call what you do healing?
Everything I have done was as the goddess willed. I call myself nothing but her loyal servant. All of us are hers to command.
No, not all of us.
House Wolffort means to free the Roselle from the goddess's tyranny.
Do you now?
As one committed to the preservation of life, you know salt should not be a luxury for the privileged few. Is that not what you told me? Help us. If not for the Roselle, then to change Hyzante for the better.
Change Hyzante? How wonderful that would be.
Then...
No, I cannot help you. The Holy One would have my head for turning traitor. Besides, my hands are far too bloody to ever be washed clean. These heretics spit in the face of the goddess. They deserve...
Minister Lila, how can you pretend the teachings are righteous when you know the truth?
There is no turning back for me. I am Lila Viscraft, one of Hyzante's saintly 7.
Wolffort.
Wait your turn!
Minister Lila had the key to the laboratory. We found the Elfric within.
And documents detailing its use. We know how to trigger it now.
Then we can destroy both the statue of the goddess and the ships that'd give chase.
My people suffered so this Elfric could be created. For their sake, we cannot fail.
We shan't. I think even Minister Lila, in her heart of hearts, had prayed for our success.
So she understood the injustice of it all and sought to aid us. What makes you think that?
I imagine circumstances prevented her from acts of outright defiance.
Perhaps the Saintly 7 are not so free to act according to their own principles. If that's the case, then the so-called equality under the goddess that Hyzante loves to espouse is nothing but hypocrisy.
Indeed. There is nothing righteous about a faith that preaches appropriating a person's very death. Let us to the source. The goddess's oppression has gone on long enough.
They haven't added more soldiers to the ramparts, meaning they haven't noticed us yet.
Claris has them nice and distracted for us. But I don't think we can stay hidden for this next bit.
No, the source is heavily guarded inside. Sneaking in to quietly foment rebellion is not an option. We must defeat the guards and convince the Roselle to rise up in a very short amount of time.
Before reinforcements arrive to put us down. Frederica, everything rests on your ability to sway them to our side.
My lady, you're quivering.
I know what I will say, what I will do. Whether I will succeed, however, I do not know. And not knowing frightens me. I hate that I'm such a coward, when my mother was so brave.
There isn't a person in the world who doesn't fear the future. Not your mother, not the Rosellan. Being brave isn't about being fearless. It's about acting regardless of how terrified you are. We are here because we refuse to let fear rule us. Remember, Frederica, you are not alone.
I needed to hear that, Sheila. Mother, please guide us. Serenoa.
I know you can.
After defeating Lila and securing the Elfric, Serenoa and his retinue make for the source to free the Roselle. Meanwhile, Hyzantean forces commanded by Exham arrive at Castle Wolffort's doorstep. intent on claiming the salt crystal deposits for themselves. Refusing to hand over the salt, House Wolffort has barricaded themselves inside with hundreds of soldiers. Their outright defiance makes Exham cautious, suspecting some sort of trap. He opts to surround the castle and prepares for an extended siege. But the Wolffort soldiers don't move an inch. Patience worn thin, Exham orders an attack. His soldiers swarm into the castle.
There's no one here.
What is the meaning of this?
Our scouts didn't see enemy soldiers. Only straw dolls.
Minister Exham, the castle is empty.
They must have abandoned the castle, told their people to flee. Damn. They twisted our vigilance against us to buy themselves time.
But where have they gone to?
I cannot say.
What are you scheming, Wolffort?
Well, seize the castle in any case. This domain belongs to Hyzante now.
Sir.
After routing Exham with his strange strategy, and seeing Wolffort's people safely to Glenbrook's crown city, Benedict disappears. His actions draw Hyzante's full attention entirely to the Wolffort domain, making it easy for Serenoa and his retinue to slip into the source. But whether they can convince the Roselle to rebel depends entirely on Frederica. Which way the winds of fate will blow is anyone's guess.
Halt! What are you... Ah!
Goddess, what have you done? Who are you?
My name is Frederica S. Frost. Daughter of Orlea, the woman who led the Source Rebellion 30 years ago. With me is Lord Serenoa of House Wolffort, my husband. We have come to liberate you, but we cannot do it without your help. We need you to take a stand and fight by our side.
Husband? It's true then, what they say? That you accepted a Rosellan as one of your own?
Yes, Frederica is my wife. House Wolffort pledges itself to the Roselle's defense. Let us leave this wretched place far behind us.
Leave Hyzante? No. We'd only be throwing ourselves upon the soldiers' swords.
Our ancestors stained us with sin the moment they tried to hoard salt for themselves. The goddess will never absolve us unless we dedicate our lives serving her here. Don't keep us from our atonement.
It's not like there's anywhere for us to go, even if we fled.
There is. My mother told me of the Rosellan homeland. A place far, far to the south, surrounded by a vast expanse of salt water. Centralia. Everything's already in place for your escape. All that we need to succeed is for you to trust us.
Centralia. A vast expanse of salt water.
It's just a myth. You can't expect us to believe it's real.
I knew Lady Orleia. You do bear her likeness. She, too, insisted the Holy State's teachings were a lie. That we must break the chains the false goddess bound us with, and seek Centralia. Those words sparked rebellion. But only a handful of us managed to escape in the end. Took a bit of the goddess's statue with them. That's all.
I was a child at the time, so I don't remember it that well. Still, I doubt you lot will accomplish much more than she did.
I understand your hesitation, but nothing will change if we do not take a stand. Do you really want our people to be trapped here forever?
Of course not, but...
We fear what Hyzante will do to us.
No one can defy the goddess. That's what they have always taught us.
I understand. It isn't easy to act against generations of oppression and terror.
Then we destroy the very thing that represents all they fear. The statue of the goddess. Show them she can be defeated.
Best do it soon. I doubt we have much time until Hyzante realizes we're here.
None of you move.